Hi, thanks for joining us today. We're going to just take a quick moment and go through the workflow of how to process a donation at your CCMS kiosk. Let's imagine that we've got a donor that's walked into our community center and they feel compelled to give $35 to our third grade swim program. As a front desk cashier and clerk, simply all I need to do is go into my kiosk cash register and I'll go ahead and click on the donation button. I'm going to find the button that best suits the intent of the donor, which is give the gift of swimming. And $35 I happen to know pays for one child to go through third grade swim program, so I'm going to go ahead and click Add Item. In this next screen, it's really important that I ask the customer whether or not they'd like to receive a tax receipt or be listed as an anonymous donor. In this case, the donor requested to be anonymous, so we'll go ahead and click on anonymous on the right hand side and make sure it's highlighted in blue before we hit continue. Once I hit continue, you'll see on the right hand side of the screen that I've added the gift of swimming for one child to my receipt line, so now I'm ready to go ahead and collect the donation. I'll go ahead and say I'm going to take cash here and $35 even. Hit the next button. The system is going to prompt me if I'd like to give the customer a receipt, and with a donor you always want to give a receipt, so I'll definitely press yes. In my next example, I have another donor that has walked up to our front desk and they would like to give $50 to our Families Feeding Families program. So again, I'll go ahead and go to the donation button section. I'll go ahead and, there's the Feed a Family donation button. And in this case, they've just decided they want a flat $50, which actually is a different other amount than feeding one or two families. So I'll go ahead and pick other, enter the $50, hit next. And in this case, the donor's very willing to give their name. They'd like to receive a tax receipt. And I happen to recognize her. I think she's been in our community center before. So I'm going to go ahead and search for her in our existing database. Look her up by last name. And there's Jessica right there. So we'll go ahead and select Jessica. And we'll make sure that only she is selected. We'll hit continue. And now I see in my receipt line on the right hand side here that it says Feed a Family donation and that the donor is Jessica McIntosh. So we'll go ahead and collect payment, which she has given us a check. So we'll go ahead and enter the reference number as the check number, hit next, and as before, say yes for printing a receipt. In our last example, I've had a donor walk up to the desk, somebody that I don't recognize, and they've offered to give $1,000 to the greatest need of the Salvation Army and our local Croc Center. When that, with the $1,000 gift, and honestly you'll want to talk to your local development team to find out what the right threshold amount is, the first thing as a cashier I'm going to do is jump on the phone and call up to the development department and ask somebody to come down and meet this donor. While we're waiting for that person to come down, I will go ahead and start the process of the transaction. So again, we'll hit donation. And in this case, they picked kind of more of an unrestricted type donation. We have it listed here as doing the most good. So we'll go ahead and enter the $1,000. We will hit the next button. And in this case, like I said, I don't recognize the donor. They are new to our area and our facility, so I'll go ahead and hit Add Customer. Now in this Add Customer screen, please bypass taking a picture. You do not need to take the photo of a donor unless they really want to have their photo taken. Anyhow, but we'll go ahead and enter their name. It's Terry Jones. And in the case of the birth date, if they want to give us their real birthday, that would be great, but we understand if they don't feel comfortable with that. In the case that they don't want to give a real birth date, I recommend that you use something that would signify obviously to you that this is not a legitimate birthday like 8/8/1988 or 9/9/1999. That way if they ever do come back as a day pass or a member user, you can be sure to adjust and get a real birth date. We'll go ahead and set the gender, and we'll generate a barcode so that we can create an account in our system for them. I'm going to hit the continue button, and the system has found a few matching customers. Neither of these is Terry, so I'm just going to cancel out of the screen. And in the next screen, the system is automatically going to ask for Terry's address. Very important part of the donor experience is that we take an address so that we can send them a thank you letter as well as a formal tax receipt. So we'll go ahead and add that. Our state. Now, email and phone are optional, but if they're willing to give it, we would love to be in contact with them and can send them information via email on a semi-regular basis. All right, so Terry Jones, he's 26. Let's go ahead and hit next, and we'll see on the receipt line that Terry Jones is donating $1,000 to our greatest need. And so we'll go ahead and collect payment. So we'll go ahead and put in the check number, and we'll hit next. Print him a receipt, and it's just that simple. So please don't hesitate to contact your local CCMS support specialist if you have any questions. For those in the Eastern Territory, that's Jason Platt, P-L-A-T-T. For those in the Southern Territory, please contact George Burkhardt, B-U-R-K-H-A-R-D-T. And for those of you in the Central Territory, you'll want to contact Eric Olson, O-L-S-O-N. And last but not least, if you're in the Western Territory, please feel free to contact me, Jessica McIntosh. And thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.